can't do that.
Right. But isn't it industry versus people? Because I think that's one of the tools or weapons that they're using to divide us, is to make it think that it's like my individual, 2 straws a week versus Nestle, who's, making plastic water bottles, the companies that are still manufacturing styrofoam. When I order something and it comes in like, wrapped in plastic like 12 times over, like they're inviting us to, I don't even want to say reduce our carbon footprint, because that whole thing is a scam, but like none of the industries are taking any responsibility, and they're the biggest planet rapers of them all.
Yeah, the military industrial complex and fashion are the two biggest destroyers of the planet. But it's interesting, the consciousness of self-righteousness about a straw, and then Amazon priming, and then the list goes on and on.
Right.
But yeah, like, I mean, what I'm concerned of now is it's starting to seem apparent, like, oh, this is going to be a great tool to, like, there's already companies starting to basically monetize and use the things we have for free as a commodity, like fresh air. And like that, there's ownership there. And then, oh, you exceeded your carbon footprint, so you can't, do anything more. You can't go anywhere. These idiots in Vermont are pushing for electric cars only by 2035. I'm like, Vermont's the second most rural state, and if the fourth, now I believe California is maybe the fourth legit. It used to be the 5th largest economy in the world. I think it's now maybe the 4th, and they don't have the infrastructure to utilize, to have people run AC on a couple of hot days now.
Exactly.
And so I'm like, Vermont, you guys, this is like, we're in the middle of nowhere. Like, you can't even charge your cell phone or use it in half these places around here. And it's just mountains, and like, literally you could get lost in these woods here. So it's like, it's an interesting notion. It seems like a good idea until the reality, and you're like, oh, this doesn't work, and I can only go a few hundred miles in my car, and you just can't. It's like, you can't, like, the iPhone didn't come about because you made a flip phone illegal.
Exactly. Well, and I mean, because there's so many scams and there's so much misinformation around the climate change conversation, which was birthed out of Club of Rome as a total Hegelian, like, problem reaction solution. But back in the day, I don't know if you were in LA when everyone was driving old diesel Mercedes that had been converted to run on veggie oil. And we had underground recycled veggie oil co-ops going, where, like, really smart people would go to like M Cafe, pick up all of their oil at the end of the night, do whatever. And it was the government that put the kibosh on that, because they weren't able to tax it and they weren't able to control us. So I think the idea that any of our solutions are going to come through these governing bodies that really hate us is delusional. All right, superstars, this is the part of the podcast where we step away from the public platforms to move on to our membership platforms. As you are enjoying this conversation as much as I am enjoying having it, I encourage you to find the second half over, that word was over, on either my locals page or my Patreon page. Those addresses are patreon.com/DannyKatz and DannyKatz.locals.com. Both of those are membership communities where, for as little as $5 a month, you get access to all of my second half conversations, plus oodles of bonus content, unpublished essays, chapters, special discounts on webinars, workshops, live events. So navigate on over to the platform of your choice. Support me there. Before you go, thank you for clicking that subscribe button, for liking, for sharing, for commenting.